On the internet, some people feel less like content creators and more like old friends. They become part of your daily routine, a familiar voice in a loud world. David Adam Williams, known to millions as Adam the Woo, was one of those friends. For almost 20 years, he invited the world on his adventures, turning forgotten places into something worth remembering. His sudden passing in late December of 2025 sent a shockwave of grief across the globe, hitting everyone from theme park fanatics to urban explorers. It was a story of a beloved icon lost too soon, a story that felt painfully final. But what if it wasn't? What if the official story, the one filled with heartache and tributes, was just a cover for something far more unbelievable? What if the public mourning was just a curtain, and behind it, a secret operation was unfolding? An operation involving a ghost-like billionaire, a private island, and a faked death designed to save a man from his own fame. This is the story that bubbled up from the depths of the internet, a whisper that promised a happier ending, the story you want to believe. Today, we're diving into the life and tragic loss of a YouTube pioneer. We'll follow the breadcrumbs that led to one of the most incredible theories in internet history. And finally, we'll separate the shocking facts from the powerful fiction to uncover what really happened to Adam the Woo. In the world of YouTube, stars can burn out, but few have ever vanished like Adam the Woo. One day, he was an icon to millions. The next, he was a tragic headline that led to tears in the park. But for thousands of his fans, the official story of his final days just isn't the whole truth. They believe it's a cover for something unbelievable, a secret rescue operation funded by a ghost-like billionaire. Today, we separate fact from fiction and expose what really happened. To get why this story got so wild, you first have to understand the man at the center of it all. You have to get who Adam the Woo was. Long before vlogging was a polished, big-budget industry, there was Adam. He wasn't a showman. You wouldn't find any frantic jump cuts, screaming for the algorithm, or manufactured drama. His style was the exact opposite, calm, meditative, and incredibly personal. His catchphrase, "Join me, shall you?" wasn't a demand. It was a gentle invitation, a promise that for the next 20 minutes, you were his companion on the journey. He started on YouTube back in the late 2000s when the platform was still the Wild West. His early videos were raw, often shot on basic cameras, but they were built on a revolutionary idea. He lived out of a van funded by viewers, exploring the forgotten corners of America. He wasn't just hitting tourist traps, he was documenting the country's soul. He'd take you through the skeletal remains of abandoned theme parks or hunt down obscure filming locations from 80s cult classics, connecting the cinematic past with the present. He found magic in places that time had left behind. Then, in 2012, he kicked it up a notch with his second channel, The Daily Woo. The idea was simple but audacious, a new video every single day. For 5 straight years, he never missed. That consistency created a powerful connection with his audience. People didn't just tune in for an adventure, they tuned in to catch up with Adam. He became part of their lives. As one fan tribute put it, "It never felt like you were watching him, it always felt like you were there with him." Another wrote that they started every day with coffee in Adam's videos, saying his genuine positivity put them in a good mind frame. He vlogged his way through all 50 states, but he became synonymous with one place above all others, Disney parks. Adam wasn't just a fan, he was a historian and a connoisseur of the magic. Many consider him one of the founding fathers of Disney vlogging. He wouldn't just ride the new attraction, he'd dive into its history and point out hidden details only a true expert would know. His love for Disney was so deep, he eventually moved to Celebration, Florida, the community originally developed by the Walt Disney Company. It was the perfect setting for a man who lived and breathed to that fantasy. His influence was huge. A whole generation of travel and theme park vloggers saw his work as a blueprint for a different kind of content, one based on passion and authenticity. As one fellow creator called him, he was a giant and a pioneer. In the community, he was known as a kind, humble guy who was always approachable, despite his huge following. One fan recalled meeting him at Disneyland and expecting a quick celebrity brush-off, but instead got a warm, brotherly hug. That was Adam the Woo. He had built more than a channel. He had built a community that felt like family, and that family was about to be shaken to its core. The end came so suddenly, it left everyone reeling. On Monday, December 22nd, 2025, the news started spreading, first as shocked whispers online, then as heartbreaking confirmed reports. David Adam Williams, the man the world knew as Adam the Woo, was dead at 51. The official details from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office painted a tragic picture. Deputies were first sent to Adam's home in celebration for a welfare check that afternoon. Friends hadn't been able to reach him, which was alarming for a man known for his daily videos. A few hours later, they were called back to the same address. A worried friend had taken matters into their own hands, using a ladder to look into a third-story window. What they saw was unthinkable. Adam lying motionless on his bed. First responders entered the home and confirmed the reality. The man who had taken millions on so many journeys had reached his final destination. The investigation was officially ongoing, with the medical examiner working to determine a cause of death. His father, who lived nearby, was notified. The news exploded online. His final video, uploaded just a day before he was found, became an instant memorial. It was a classic Adam the Woo vlog, a gentle, joyful tour of the Christmas decorations in his beloved celebration. He was riding his golf cart, chatting about recent travels, and looking forward to the future. There was no hint of a farewell, which made his sudden absence even harder to process. The grief was immediate and immense. This felt different from a celebrity passing. It felt personal. Tributes flooded the internet. Fellow YouTubers, many of whom credited him with their careers, posted tearful videos. His close friend, vlogger Justin Scard, wrote, "The world has lost a giant, and I have lost a friend closer to me than blood." That feeling was shared by thousands who felt they knew him, even if only through a screen. As one person wrote, "He made us feel like his friend by inviting us along." That loss was felt deeply in Celebration, Florida. The town's festive lights, which he had just filmed with such joy, now served as a somber backdrop for a community in mourning. The tears in the park were real. The man who brought so much life to its streets was gone. The story seemed straightforward, even if it was unbearably sad. But in the vacuum left by an unconfirmed cause of death and the intense grief of a fan base, something else started to grow. It started in the shadows of the internet, a story too wild, too elaborate, and too good to be true, and it was exactly what a grieving community wanted to hear. It started with a single anonymous post. The source is nearly impossible to trace now, but the story it told was electric. It was a complete rejection of the grim reality everyone was trying to accept. The post claimed that Adam the Woo was not dead. The entire thing, the welfare check, the discovery, the official reports, was a perfectly staged deception. The theory was pure blockbuster. It alleged that in the weeks before his death, Adam was approached by a representative for a reclusive tech billionaire. This wasn't just any rich guy. According to the legend, this billionaire was an eccentric genius who made his fortune and then vanished, paranoid about the toxic nature of modern fame. He was also, supposedly, a huge fan of Adam the Woo. He saw Adam as one of the last authentic creators on a platform drowning in commercialism. The billionaire supposedly believed that Adam's public life was slowly destroying him. The pressure of daily vlogging, the lack of privacy, it was a recipe for burnout. So he came up with an exit strategy, a wild one. He would use his massive resources to stage Adam's death with flawless paperwork and cooperative officials. Adam would be quietly extracted from his home and flown to a state-of-the-art medical facility on a remote, private island. There, he could recover from the exhaustion of public life, get a new identity, and live out his days in quiet freedom. The public's grief, the tears in the park, was actually a crucial part of the plan. The more real the world's sorrow seemed, the more believable the story would be. The fans weren't just mourning, they were providing the cover for his escape.
This theory spread like crazy. It was debated on Reddit, dissected in Facebook groups, and filled YouTube comment sections. At first, most people dismissed it as a tasteless fantasy, but the story was just too compelling, and it tapped into a deep, desperate need for a happier ending. People wanted to believe. Soon, evidence started popping up, twisted to fit the story. A shadow in his last video? That was a handler from the Billionaire's team. The fact that his friend needed a ladder? Proof the scene was staged, because surely he would have had a key. The delay from the medical examiner on the official cause of death became the biggest piece of proof. To the believers, this wasn't a standard procedure. It was the officials stalling for time while Adam was being flown out of the country. The rumor offered an escape from a senseless tragedy. It replaced a sad, simple reality with an extraordinary, hopeful fiction. Adam wasn't gone. He had just pulled off the ultimate escape, thanks to a guardian angel billionaire. It was a modern fairy tale, and for a community drowning in sorrow, it was a lifeline.
A story that wild needs some serious proof. The tale of the billionaire rescue is a great movie plot, but when you step away from fan forums and look at the verifiable facts, the whole thing falls apart. Our investigation isn't about crushing a hopeful story. It's about honoring Adam's legacy by sticking to the truth, no matter how tough it is. First, where did this theory even come from? It seems to have appeared out of thin air on anonymous platforms like Reddit and 4chan. These weren't journalists with inside sources or friends of the family. They were faceless users posting elaborate fan fiction with zero evidence. The story wasn't a leak, it was willed into existence by the collective imagination of a grieving internet. Second, and more importantly, you have to weigh that anonymous fiction against the official record. The details of Adam's death were reported by multiple credible news outlets, all citing the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. For the billionaire theory to be true, it would require a massive conspiracy involving the sheriff's deputies, the fire rescue team, the medical examiner's office, and who knows who else. Every one of them would have to risk their careers and freedom to pull off this stunt. It's a logistical nightmare that has no basis in reality. His father, Jim Williams, was officially notified. His closest friends, like Justin Scard and Chris Yan, have publicly shared their genuine shock and devastation. For the rescue theory to be true, his family and best friends would either be in on the lie or be the victims of a cruel deception. Both ideas are deeply disrespectful to their very real grief. Justin Scard even addressed the rumors directly in his tribute, saying he felt the need to say what I can, the words of a man processing a real tragedy, not an actor in a play. That delay in releasing the cause of death, that's completely normal. An autopsy, especially a thorough one, takes time. Toxicology tests and other analyses have to be completed before a final report is issued. It's not evidence of a cover-up, it's evidence of a diligent investigation. So why did this rumor catch fire? The answer is more about psychology than evidence. When a beloved figure dies suddenly, it leaves a void. We hate stories that feel random or meaningless. A conspiracy theory, no matter how crazy, provides a narrative. It suggests events aren't random, they're controlled. In Adam's case, the theory did something comforting. It turned him from a victim of a tragedy into the hero of his own escape. He didn't just die, he beat the system. That's a much better story than the bleak alternative. It also allowed fans to continue their relationship with him. He wasn't gone, he was just on a new, secret adventure. They could picture him on a beach somewhere, finally at peace. The story wasn't really about Adam anymore, it was about the fans' inability to let him go. The truth is often simple, painful, and unsatisfying. David Adam Williams was a 51-year-old man found deceased in his home, and the official investigation is ongoing. That's the real story. The Billionaire Rescue is a ghost story for the digital age, born from love and grief. So the investigation leads to one stark conclusion.
There was no billionaire, no secret rescue mission, no faked death. The truth is the one we started with, the one that's harder to accept because it's so simple and so sad. David Adam Williams, a man who brought joy and wonder to millions, has passed away. The shock is real, the tributes are real, and the grief felt by his global community is devastatingly real. The tears in the park weren't part of a plot, they were real tears for a man who made places like Disneyland feel like home, even for people who'd never been. The wild rumors were a myth built to soften a harsh reality. It's a testament to Adam's impact that his fans would write a fantasy epic just to avoid saying goodbye. But focusing on the fiction, however well-intentioned, does a disservice to his actual legacy. Adam the Woo's story isn't a mystery thriller, it's a story about the power of authentic human connection. His real legacy isn't a secret island getaway, it's the thousands of videos he left behind, a digital archive of a life lived with relentless curiosity. He was a YouTube pioneer who helped define a genre, showing that you didn't need a huge budget or a flashy personality to connect with people. You just needed passion and a willingness to share your corner of the world. He was a historian of the overlooked. While others chased trends, he was preserving pieces of Americana. He explored abandoned malls, drove down forgotten highways, and paid tribute to the pop culture landmarks of his youth. His work is a time capsule. He inspired countless people to pick up a camera, explore their own backyards, and find adventure around the corner. Fan tributes often say he inspired them to take the side roads and appreciate the world around them. In the end, his passing created a community united in remembrance. His channels have become a place where people can go to relive his journeys. The comment sections are now a sprawling guest book filled with stories of how he touched their lives. The tragedy is that his journey ended so abruptly, but the triumph is that he took so many of us along for the ride. The truly unbelievable part of this story isn't some fictional billionaire. It's the fact that one man with a camera and a sense of wonder could build such a profound connection with millions of people. It's that his quiet, gentle presence could leave such a loud and enduring silence. He didn't need a secret rescue to become a legend. He already was one vlog at a time. So the investigation shows us how we process grief in the internet age. It's a journey that started with a heartbreaking loss, took a detour through wild fantasy, and returned to a simple, somber truth. The desire for a happier ending, where our heroes get spirited away to paradise instead of just being gone, is deeply human. The billionaire rescue theory wasn't born from malice, it was born from love and a desperate need to rewrite an ending that felt too final. But in searching for a better story, we risk losing sight of the real one. Adam's true legacy isn't a mystery to be solved. It's the vast library of adventures he shared, the community he built, and the quiet inspiration he gave to so many. He showed us there's magic in the mundane and connection in the simple act of sharing a journey. That's the story that deserves to be told. What does this all say about how we deal with grief and fame online? When a public figure feels like a friend, where's the line between remembrance and fantasy? Let us know what you think in the comments.